Hello and a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Meha Bhardwaj Alter, and the race to the playoffs is getting intense in this IPL. That is right. We saw a thriller last night between Lucknow Super Giants and Mumbai Indians, with Lucknow winning that match by 5 runs in the last over. With this win, LSG are now in the third position on the points table. With 7 matches left in the league stages now, there are 5 teams that could finish on 16 points, and one of those teams that will harbour the hope of finishing in the top 4 is Punjab Kings. That's right, they will take on Delhi Capitals in Dharamshala. Punjab are on 12 points after 12 games and will need to win both their games by big margins to qualify for the playoffs. Delhi Capitals, they're out of this race, but will look to spoil Punjab's party tonight. They will also look to avenge their defeat from the last game where Punjab beat them. Remember, Simran Singh, he scored 100 for Punjab, and then Harpreet Brar, along with Rahul Chahar, they got the Delhi Capitals batsmen out before they could chase the target. Okay, Jamie Alter is here with me to look at this match, to set this match up for us, and he will also discuss with us the likely scenarios for the playoffs. But let's get straight into it, Jamie. Can Delhi Capitals spoil Punjab Kings' party tonight, given that this is happening in Dharamshala, a venue that Delhi batters might just enjoy more than what they were in Delhi itself?
Absolutely. They will definitely be looking forward to this match because of the conditions. Can they? Yes. Will they? Not so clear, because it is, after all, Delhi, who somehow find a way to get in a jam from which there's really no getting out.
Yeah.
But look, jokes aside, looking at the conditions, I think their top 3 of David Warner, Phil Salt, and Mitchell Marsh, because Warner and Marsh are Australians, they like the horizontal bat shots. And Phil Salt is a fascinating character. He's English, but he spent most of his youth playing in Barbados, in the West Indies. So he too has a penchant, for the cross-batted shots, which, when you go back to that one inning from Phil Salt, it was at the Kotla against Bangalore, but when Bangalore's pretty decent pace attack tried to bump him out, the guy was swiveling and sending the ball flying back into the stands. So someone like Phil Salt, who can bat that way at the Kotla, I'm sure he'll be thrilled to bat, at the high altitude stadium in Dharamshala, because the ball does travel there. I remember 2010, the last time I covered a match there, it was a similarly must-win match between Chennai and the Kings 11 Punjab, and Dhoni. That was a match when Dhoni hit Irfan Pathan for those 6s, and he punched his grill of the helmet. That was one of the most, in fact, the only time we've seen Dhoni, since he became the Dhoni we all know and love, really show emotion. So looking at that match and the kind of altitude the match is going to be played on, the conditions, the ball in Dharamshala, when it flies, it flies. So I'm not by any means saying that Delhi are going to win this match, because it is Delhi we're talking about.
Yeah.
But David Warner, Phil Salt, and especially Mitchell Marsh, who I'm sure wants to remind his owners, the people who paid big bucks for him, okay, bhai, I am a good player. These 3 guys could have a field day this evening.
Okay, let's also talk about Punjab, though. Punjab beat Delhi Capitals in Delhi at the Kotla. But, you look at Punjab's campaign, Jamie, and it has really been a team that has punched above its weight. And why I'm saying this is not because of the names that are there on paper for this franchise, but the ones who are performing, because their big names are not performing, but it's the Indian players who've done well and consistently to find themselves in a position, or rather in a better position than teams like Rajasthan Royals and Kolkata Knight Riders. That just goes on to show how well their Indian players have put their hand up and said, look, we are here for you, we will win this match for you. Be it Prabh Simran in the way he scored 100 in the last game, Harpreet Brar got 4 wickets, Jitesh Sharma, who's been finishing matches for them. It's really the Indian contingent that has done well for Punjab.
And Punjab really needed that, right? We all knew before a ball was bowled that the absence of Johnny Bairstow was going to be massive. Like, you don't have any option like him, Liam Livingston was always a doubtful starter because he was coming off a lengthy injury gap. And it was almost halfway stage, I think, in the campaign before we saw him. Then beyond that, their overseas talent was just not good enough in my mind, this is just me speaking here, not good enough to command regular playing time. No disrespect to Sikandar Raza. Of course, Matthew Short came in much later. So Punjab were a team that are always going to need their domestic players to really, to use a cliche, pull above their weight. That said, I was very skeptical here on this show. Also, I've also asked how a team's top four can include Harpreet Brar, Atarva Taide, Harpreet Singh Bhatia, and
Yeah.
Prabh Simran Singh, because for the longest time the results were not coming. Let's face it. Prabh Simran got that 64 odd about a month ago. We said, wow. But before and after, he had nothing to show up. So there were gaping holes, despite the fact that this team had that reliance on domestic players. Now, in one match, Prabh Simran goes and becomes another uncapped player to score a stroke-filled 100. Always makes headlines. Always very good to see uncapped Indian talent perform. But the fact is that he had not done much to show that he would, produce an innings like that. Harpreet Brar is in fact tasted a lot more success than Prabh Simran Singh. I remember that match when he came out of the blue against Bangalore a few years ago, and he took out Virat Kohli, Glenn Maxwell, and another major player in the span of one over. So he's put in performances. Now, in 2023, unfortunately, due to several factors, Harpreet Brar is a typical horses for courses kind of player. He's not a starter, only gets a chance when the conditions require someone of his bowling skill. And what happened at the Kotla? The guy takes 4 wickets. So yes, full credit to these guys for stepping up. But the bigger problem, and which is why I'm not surprised that Punjab are in the jam where they are, is because they just did not have, again, no disrespect, did not have enough uncapped quality players to win them enough matches.
That's right. I mean, Sam Curran, Liam Livingston, just nothing was going right for them when it comes to their foreign players. Rabada. In fact, Nathan Ellis is being preferred over Rabada. I'm also wondering whether they will play Rabada today given the conditions, but we'll come to that. Jamie, let's talk about your favorite team now, Delhi Capitals. Let me also tell our viewers, first of all, a question for all of you. Who do you think will win tonight? Will it be Delhi Capitals who will take that revenge of getting beaten by Punjab Kings at home, or will it be Punjab Kings who will give themselves another chance of staying in that race for the playoffs? So do let us know in the comment section below. But let's talk about Jamie's favorite team, you guys. It is Delhi Capitals, and
not Bangalore.
Till the very end, till they were just about to be knocked out, Jamie kept hoping and believing that there was a chance for Delhi Capitals. I'm surprised. I think more than RCB fans, Jamie, I think Delhi Capitals fans, and especially you, in the way you believed in them, that should be meme material. But Delhi Capitals, nothing went right for them. Nothing has gone right. I mean, all that could go wrong for a team went wrong for them. And of course, it started with Rishabh Pant not being able to be part of this team. But even after that, kuch bhi sahi nahi tha.
No, absolutely. And the reason why I had actually tipped them, it was a left field selection. Why I tipped them to be in the race for the top 4 was, yes, of course, Rishabh Pant has no replacement, right? But when you look at those players, on paper, I thought they had a good enough team. Now, of course, as always, Prithvi Shaw has somehow managed to let down most people. I don't know how many Prithvi Shaw supporters are actually there right now. Before the IPL, we saw his whole fan brigade saying this was the time when he could bounce back. I mean, he's been a colossal failure. Sarfaraz Khan, I think perhaps Delhi rushed themselves into pushing him into that wicketkeeper choice. I know he kept wicket for a few matches in the Syed Mushtaq Ali. But when you look at Sarfaraz Khan, it's very clear that his best format is red ball, right? There's a reason he racks up 800, 900 runs every other season. He's not been anywhere near as successful in T20 cricket. So why they spent 3-4 games on him, I'm not sure. Abhishek Porel was flown in very late. He did some trials. He got picked. But then you just look at their domestic talent, and I think that's where it's been a massive disappointment. Very surprised that Yash Dul was only given 1 match, and when he scored 4 or 5 runs, he was not persisted with. But then again, why was I somewhat confident? Anrik Nokia, Mustafizur Rahman, Lungi Nagidi, David Warner, Mitchell Marsh, World Cup winner, Riley Russo, the guy's gone and made a name in T20 leagues. Rovman Powell, West Indies T20 captain, they had enough players. But you're right, nothing went wrong. It started with some very average bowling. Akshay Patel was never in the wickets in that first half of the season. Prithvi Shaw, they wasted 7 matches in hopes that the guy will score runs. Not once did the guy cross the power play. If you're expecting Manish Pandey to win you matches, I'm sorry, you're not a team that really deserves to be in the playoffs. So yes, just one thing after the other. I think Anrik Nokia was a massive letdown. Kuldeep Yadav has been decent. It's just not enough quality domestic players, and a large chunk of the blame has to be given to the big ticket overseas players.
That's right. What are the chances that Jamie put his money on Delhi Capitals and Sunrisers Hyderabad, and both were the first two teams to get knocked out of this playoffs race? Because I remember having this conversation with you, pardon me, about Sunrisers Hyderabad as well, where you said that, they've got a very good batting. And I'm not taking this. Sunrisers Hyderabad have a very good team. There is no denying that. Similarly, even with Delhi Capitals, you look at the players and you compare them to some of the other teams, you think that this is a team that will do well, that is likely to make it to the playoffs. It's just that they haven't clicked as a team. They haven't had some, outstanding performances from players other than one or two. David Warner, who's been carrying the team on his back. For that matter, Sunrisers Hyderabad has had nobody, who's been consistent and who's been outstanding. One of the major reasons. Whereas for Punjab Kings, Jamie, you look at that team, they've also not had anybody who's been outstanding. But somehow they won close games. Somebody or the other has always put their hand up and they won, and that's why they find themselves in this situation. So It is touch and go for Punjab from here on as well.
It's touch and go for sure. I don't see them winning 2 out of 2, but it's a good comparison you made between these two struggling teams. Because look, Nathan Ellis was not a starter when the season began, but he's been far more successful than Mustafizur Rahman and Anrik Nokia were, right? Okay, you have someone like Sikandar Raza, again, probably would not have started all the matches, but he's been a decent performer, right? Rahul Chair has only very, very belatedly started getting wickets. You go back to Delhi, right? Kuldeep Yadav is India's most successful one-day and T20 bowler, most successful spinner this year, right? So you expected him to have a bumper season. You're playing half your matches at the Kotla. Akshay Patel has been a revelation for the better part of 18 months when he's playing for India. He was a massive letdown. So I still feel that man-to-man, Delhi had more players who you expected to click as compared to Punjab, right?
Yeah.
Prabh Simran Singh's got 100. How many people would have called that? Like I said, you had half of India was saying, oh, this is going to be Prithvi Shaw's year. You had Ricky Ponting saying, watch out, Prithvi Shaw is going to do great things. How many people said, oh, Atharva Taide is going to do something, Prabh Simran Singh is going to do something,
Correct.
Yes, Sam Curran, 18.5 crores. Sam Curran and Jofra Archer have been colossal failures, What has Sam Curran done to merit getting 18.5 crores? Despite that, all said and done, while Delhi are done and dusted, Punjab are like still say, hey, we have 12 points. We win 2. We're up to 16, and 16 points is going to get us into the playoffs. So yes, a lot of things have gone wrong for both teams. And like you said, it's their ability to win matches which are very close. Sam Curran stepping up with his only innings of note in 12 matches was that 50 against Mumbai. That was a match where Jitesh Sharma ignited, So I think if you ask me to sift through everything, I would say Jitesh Sharma has been their most consistent player. For me, uske baad followed by Nathan Ellis. Prabh Simran, yes, 100, 160, but nothing to speak of. And the other players they tried and didn't get results from. I think that speaks of how.
Shikhar Dhawan also, Jamie? Shikhar Dhawan as well.
Shikhar Dhawan in the first 4 matches before he got injured, there was a 40 odd. There was an 85 not out and there was a 99. That said, okay, this is a one-man team. But then he goes and gets injured, unfortunately, and he misses, I think, 4, maybe 5 matches. In those 4 to 5 matches, they didn't do anything of note. Now, when Shikhar Dhawan comes back after injury, it's going to take him a while to get back.
He scored a 50 after that, but you're right. You're right.
But again, if you're depending on a 38-year-old player to get you into the playoffs, you're not really a playoff team, are you?
Yeah. I wonder though, teams like Punjab Kings, teams like DC, at the end of the year, at the end of this league, stage if they don't get through. I mean, PBK still have a chance, DC are out. When they look back on what went wrong, what are some of the findings for these two teams? You've already said that Indian players for DC haven't clicked, Punjab Kings, some of the big names haven't clicked. But to avoid, I mean, this is something that can happen to any team in any season, but to avoid this from happening, and there is a point when one says that, look, teams like Mumbai Indians, teams like Chennai Super Kings, even Gujarat Titans now, they just know how to click as a group. Is that something that's missing from these teams? You know, you're not gelling in as a group, not just on the field, off it as well. You know, your relationship with the owners, your relationship with the coaching staff. These players are all coming from different parts of the world. They're all getting together just before the IPL begins. But there is something different when it comes to some teams like Mumbai Indians, CSK or GT.
Absolutely, and there's a reason why these two franchises that are playing this evening's match, they've been around for 16 years. They've gone through reshuffles in terms of their name.
Yeah.
But haven't these two teams only reached the final once? It's a fact, right? There's a reason for that, right? Both these teams, you go down any of the past 15 completed years, Maya, you look at their squad when the season started. Arey bhai, kya team hai? Delhi had Yuvraj Singh, Ross Taylor, Mahela Jayawardene, Jesse Ryder, Andre Russell. Russell started out playing here. They had good teams. Punjab, Sean Marsh, 560 something runs. Yuvraj Singh, Sangakkara, Jayawardene. They've had really big names. Why then in 15 completed seasons have these two teams reached the final only once?
True.
Because of course, inconsistency, big names not performing. But when you pose this question and you ask me to compare to teams like Gujarat and Mumbai, it just comes down to, yes, of course, leadership, but auctions, right? Auctions. Of course, you lose Johnny Bairstow, massive. That's a gap that's not going to be filled no matter who you scout and bring in, right? Rishabh Pant, same thing. Rishabh Pant may not be tactically as valuable as someone like a Faf du Plessis, but he's a maverick, he's your talisman. He's someone who changes games batting at number 4. But I think we've moved on by saying, yeah, Rishabh Pant nahi tha, yeah, Johnny Bairstow. It just comes down to the kind of players you pick at the auction. If you are suddenly in a scramble looking for someone beyond the Sarfaraz Khan to keep wickets, and you go for Abhishek Porel, the fact that you're even looking at Sarfaraz Khan to keep wickets in the first match of the season means that you bungled up your scouting, right? Same for Punjab. They just not. No disrespect. Why does Mohammad Shahrukh Khan go for 9-10 crores? How many matches has he finished?
Yeah.
I won't even need 5 fingers to show you, right?
Yeah.
So it comes down to scouting. Why do Mumbai Indians, despite a terrible last season, despite a somewhat bungling season, why do they unearth players? Someone said Tilak Verma ko team mein lao, right? Tilak Verma has had 2 great seasons. He might be in India's squad next year. Are any players apart from Jitesh Sharma from Punjab uncapped players going to find a way into the Indian team? Not by a long shot. It just comes down to scouting. Chennai are very good at this. Mumbai Indians remain the best at this for a reason.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. If you look at Delhi's team, they have a lot of Indian talent, possibly future players from the Indian team, be it Yash Thul, Prithvi Shaw being one, Sarfaraz Khan. You said it rightly, red ball cricket versus white ball cricket when it comes to Sarfaraz Khan. But, yes, 1 second, just let me finish my point here. Look at the Indian, it's not that they don't have Indian talent. They have enough players, Priyam Garg, like you said, Abhishek Porel's there is Yash Thul, you yourself said right now, Lalit Yadav's there, Ripple Patel, Aman Khan. They've got a lot of Indian names. They've also got some of them who could potentially go on to be in that Indian team, but just hasn't clicked. Nothing seems to have clicked for them. How much of this is, what I want to ask you is that how much of this is the large support staff that they have? Too many cooks, is that something that's been a problem with Delhi Capitals?
Absolutely. There's just far too many people there. It's going to lead to a muddled relationship. And I think here that relationship between Ponting and Ganguly and Praveen Amre and Shane Watson and Ajit Agarkar, that would have been far better had Rishabh Pant been around, because I think Rishabh Pant commands a different level of respect. Not that David Warner does not, but David Warner is a bit of a spent force. he's coming into the series not prepared to be captain. Of course, he's captain franchises with a lot of success, but it would have been a different equation had Rishabh Pant. We've seen Rishabh Pant, little jovial. Are theek hai, chalta hai, main hoon na. He's that kind of a guy. So no doubt the dressing room would have been far more jovial had Rishabh Pant been around. But again, just going back to those names, Sarfaraz Khan is as a starter in a T20 franchise. You've got to be kidding me, right? Yashdul, yes, Yashdul came into this season after a good domestic year. He captained India to a T20 World Cup. He's someone, but again, he gets out falling to a pull shot, and you drop him, right? Lalit Yadav is not a new player. He's been around. He's never got a place in the team. So I'm saying your domestic strength, somehow you just did not pick enough viable options, right?
Yeah.
Ripal Patel, no disrespect, he's not going to win you matches. Aman Khan, okay, he gets a belated start. You need to follow the Mumbai Indians template. You need to follow the Chennai Super Kings template. Pack players who have more consistency at the T20 level. Priyam Garg came in very late. He was not a starter. He also came in late into the attack. And I think the last time we discussed the same topic, Kushan Sarkar, who has a real his ear to the ground when it comes to Delhi, he also gave some more names of people who perhaps should have been there. And I think, and now he's here, he'll back me up. He even said that there's someone in the DC system who is not the best person for the job when it comes to scouting. Am I right, Kushan?
First, let's introduce Kushan to everybody. Let me introduce both our guests by saying this. If Kushan's through and he's in the frame, let me introduce both the wonderful gentlemen who are on the show by saying that whatever they say, whoever's advantage they say the team has, don't go by that, because yesterday they both said Mumbai Indians have a clear advantage, they will win, and then it went completely. So just don't believe them when they say this team is going to win. Having said that, all of you who are watching us, who do you think will win tonight? Will DC spoil Punjab Kings' party? Punjab, if they want to have any chances of making it to the playoffs, will not just need to win the next two games, but they'll need to win both those games by big margins because their net run rate is abysmal. Okay, there are some comments. Kushan, I'm just going to come to you, but let's just take some comments. There is Shaw303 who's been constantly putting in comments for us. So, Shaw, thank you so much for, what is your real name? Let us know in the comment section below as well. But thank you so much for writing in to us. There, he's saying that Jamie is right. DC just didn't click, but it was a strong team on paper. And he's also congratulating News9 on having a very good team. So just keep writing in to us and we'll take those comments. So here we have Kushan Sarkar. And let's ask him whether he thinks, given the conditions that one is likely to see in Dharamshala, is it advantage DC against Punjab Kings?
Conditions in Dharamshala, Meha, my first question is how will the pitch be? Because this is the same venue where we didn't have the test match against Australia.
Yes.
I believe Jamie has touched upon that point. I joined a bit late. I'm sorry for that. So I apologize. But that is one, there is a fear of unknown when you're playing on a fresh pitch. There is a fear of unknown. And that will also be there because we do not know this time. Once that match was cancelled, after that, by that time, even domestic season had come to an end. So I don't think we have had any proper BCCI, even age group level match to at least have an assessment of what kind of track. Like when we play test matches, we try to figure out what kind of Ranji matches we've had, what kind of results, first inning score, and so on and so forth. Here, no matches has been played. Like maybe HPCA club level matches, they are not an indicator. So that is one point. But obviously, an evening match in Dharamshala, it would be, since it's a high altitude, there will be some chill. But yeah, this is the month of May, mid-May, third week of May. So at the end of the day, it wouldn't be as chilly, but the ball will certainly do a bit. But there will be some amount of dew also, I believe. The dew could be a factor for the team which is chasing, we could find it a bit more easier if the team is chasing. But with Delhi Capitals and their batting lineup, I do not know. But again, you have nothing to lose now. You are not in contention. You can just throw caution to the wind. You can be free. You can have that fearless approach. And we have seen a lot of teams being the party poopers, like that Gulbadin Naib's statement during the 2019 World Cup in England, like hum to dubenge sanam tumhe bhi le dubenge. So वैसा there is a possibility that Delhi can do that. But even for doing that, again, they need, like, what kind of a team is it? Like, you do not have the highest scorer has not even touched 400 runs after 12 games. That is David Warner, and that
Yeah.
too on the basis of his scores in the first 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, and the
He has
second
reached
highest run scorer is
384.
Akshar Patel in that team.
And second highest run scorer Akshar Patel. You have a Manish Pandey, after 16 seasons of IPL, has scored 160 of 10 games. And this year, during the KKR training session pre-season, I watched Saurav Ganguly explaining to him how to hit a spinner. I think for good 1.5 hours during some of the training sessions. Saurav Ganguly spent a lot of time with at least a couple of these boys. One is Prithvi Shaw and one is Manish Pandey. With Manish Pandey, and Manish Pandey is not a spring chicken. He's at the fag end of his career. Actually, to be honest, India career is past him. He will obviously play domestic cricket and IPL till he gets an IPL team. He'll not get an India call up in near future or even in distant future. Not supposed to at his age. But but these kind of players, they take pride in what they do in IPL. And I don't see that anymore. There's a lot of casual approach that you know that there is no one to replace you. A team that doesn't have a bench strength, where some of the people feel that yes, we can play. Yes, you can say that, well, Prithvi Shaw was dropped. Prithvi Shaw can come back today. Like, they might not pick Prithvi Shaw again, but Prithvi Shaw wouldn't be worse than any of them who are playing right now. So 69 for no loss, they were 86 for 5. I mean, come on, like, if you cannot, from 69 for no loss, if you're 86 for 5, you are not supposed to win games of cricket.
That's right.
Like I
was talking to Jamie, and I said that nothing has gone right for Delhi Capitals. We've had this conversation before as well. Every time Delhi has played, Kushan, we've spoken about how things have gone wrong. Things have gone wrong in their scouting. You know, video analysts are trying to go and scout players for you, which seems to have backfired for them. But here's my question to you. Okay, first let's just tell all our viewers that Kushan's someone who's out and out a reporter. He's out there, he's getting cover for you in the most, traditional way. He goes for these matches. He's, got his sources within the DDCA. He's there, he's watching all the things happen in front of him. So he knows what's going on behind the scenes as well, when it comes to Delhi cricket, but when it also comes to Delhi Capitals. So, having said that now, Kushan, I'm sure you've had conversations about this, about what seems to have gone wrong. And I was asking this to Jamie as well, that on paper, it's not bad. Bad scouting, I may understand, but if they do have some of the Indian players who can, who are good players, who've done well in domestic cricket, and who can go on to play and be part of the Indian team. But to not be able to click collectively, where do you put that down to? Why has that happened? Because one can easily say, look, Prithvi Shaw has had great seasons before. Why is it that he hasn't clicked? Is it off the field stuff? Sarfaraz, red ball player versus white ball player. But overall, they've got a lot of options, be it Ripple Patel, they've got Yash Dhul. We were just talking about it. I know Lalit Yadav has been around, but can he play like the way he used to? So they've got the players. Somehow nobody has clicked.
No, but I beg to differ with you, Neha, because the reason here is, I don't think they have good enough players. The moment you left Shikhar Dhawan, the moment you left Sresh Iyer, the team that played the final and regularly reached the playoffs, that was a different team. That was a different team with a different kind of a balance. The moment that mega auction happened, and they were forced to release all those seasoned players, it really didn't help their cause. Like, scouting a Ripple Patel or scouting a Lalit Yadav, watching Mustaq Ali is fine. Like, you had to scout. But these are not your players who are going to win. Yes, you'll get one freak like a Jitesh Sharma.
Yeah.
You'll get a Yashasvi Jaiswal. But these guys are not, even if you look at how many tournaments Delhi has won with Lalit Yadav. You have to assess that. Like, what has been Lalit's contribution? Yes, Lalit has been an on and off player. He will be there. He will be there to fill up the jigsaw puzzle. he is not the solver of that puzzle. He is that maybe that piece here or a piece there. He is not that. He is not the solver. He is not a troubleshooter.
Yeah.
You need troubleshooters. You need a Shreyas Iyer. You need a Rishabh Pant. Rishabh Pant, unfortunate. You had no control over what happened. That was so unfortunate.
Yeah.
But at the end of that, you had control over the kind of players you had picked. So that even we are talking about bowling. Okay, fine. Ishant Sharma is looking good because others are looking so bad. Ishant Sharma is not looking exceptional. He has got 10 wickets. 12 wickets is the maximum that a Delhi bowler has got, and that is Mitchell Marsh, who I think in one match got 4 wickets. And
Yeah.
Mitchell Marsh doesn't regularly bowl for Australia when he's injured. He's only batting. So that proves where you are. Akshar Patel, whenever people are asking him that why aren't you batting up the order, he's saying, "मैं अगर ऊपर bat करूँगा तो नीचे कौन bat करेगा?"
I remember that.
That is the kind of like he laughed. Like he laughed, and that laugh was like a lot of pain, a lot of sarcasm, like it happens with us. Like we laugh through pain. And that was like that.
No, that has been a problem.
Delhi Capitals, if you ask me, today they can win. We are talking so much, today they can win because they have nothing to lose. This one match, they will spoil Punjab's party. It can happen. But Punjab will also try their best because they have still a reasonably serious chance if they can do it right. So obviously, I don't know, but Delhi, like less the said, better it is. And next year also, Neha, here on the same platform, we'll be talking about the same problems, and they will not have the solutions because next year there are no options.
Yeah.
You can have those trade-offs, but trade-off bhi karoge. If you want to do trade-off, who do you trade? Like if you leave Prithvi Shaw, if you release Sarfaraz Khan, whom do you get? There are no players left. You have to call Abhimanyu Ishwaran, who by the farthest stretch of imagination is not your T20 player. You have to call Abhimanyu Ishwaran for trials.
True.
That is the amount of players left from whom you can get players, and you have to take Priyam Garg. Why? Because Priyam Garg had played a couple of seasons of IPL. He had a 50 for Sunrisers Hyderabad. So with 115 kind of a strike rate, you still took him because you thought, ki, chalo, he has played 2 seasons of IPL. That is the best I have got. The teams that always do well, Neha, the teams where owners have least interference. Because then you do not create problems and then find solutions for those problems. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. And in fact, I think both these teams that are on show tonight, that are playing tonight, have had these issues, be it Delhi Capitals or Punjab Kings. But I've got to give it to Punjab Kings. They've actually been a good side, given that their big names haven't been firing. They've won, like I was telling Jamie, they won some close matches. They've lost some close games as well. But this is a side that you think would be happy at this point, that they are still in that playoffs contention?
I think they should be happy because I think after 2014, we can just check our stats. After 2014, the final that they played, where I think Ridhiman scored 100, but KKR won their second title under Gautam Gambhir. That was the last time I think Punjab were in the last 4 or
2014.
in playoffs. 2014, I think, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
We can check the stats. After that, from 15 till 22, I don't think they have made it to the playoffs.
So since then, they've finished at 6th
Virender
spot.
Sehwag, Anil Kumble, Sanjay Bangar, they've had coaches galore.
Yes. They've also
Ravi
changed their
Ashwin as the captain, Mayank Agarwal as the captain.
Yeah.
KL
Rahul.
KL Rahul as captain for 2 seasons. I think 1 season or 2 seasons. I think 1 season.
Yeah, 1 season didn't go well. He scored a lot of runs. He scored a lot of runs,
but those were his runs again.
What?
If you go back and look, it didn't help his team.
600
something.
Yeah. Okay. Let's also talk about what happened last night. Krishan, I'll come to you. We'll also discuss the scenarios. What can be expected now? Which are the teams that are likely to make it to the playoffs? What do they need to do to make it to the playoffs? But this is what happened last night, and this is a nice story. That's why we wanted to put this out for everybody. Lucknow Super Giants, they beat Mumbai Indians by 5 runs, and it was the last over by Mohsin Khan that made the difference. Now, Mumbai needed 11 runs to win in the last over, but Mohsin used his variations of slower balls, with Yorkers to stop Tim David and Cameron Green, giving away just 5 runs to help his team get to 2 crucial points. Now, or to get 2 crucial points, and with that now, LSG are in the number 3 spot. Later, he dedicated his match-winning performance to his father, who was in the ICU due to an illness. Now, Mohsin Khan has impressed everybody with his bowling last season, taking 14 wickets in 9 matches at an economy of just 5.97. But soon after, he suffered a serious shoulder injury. He had to undergo surgery for it, which kept him out for the whole year. In fact, he was not fit in the first half of the IPL, but this performance has shown that he has the mental strength to bounce back. I remember very clearly, Kushan, before the T20 World Cup, when Jasprit Bumrah was injured and when there were, a lot of injuries, a lot of fast bowlers were injured, and one was wondering where Mohsin Khan was, because we were talking about who could it be given how well Mohsin bowled in the last edition of the IPL, whether he could have come in. And so now the story comes out. But this is something that players deal with on their own. And, I always say this, when you look at cricketers, Indian cricketers specifically, when you're on a high, everything is going right for you, then you have, people who are constantly praising you, admiring your efforts. But when you're going through your low period in your life, people do tend to forget you. And he was forgotten for a while, right? So just your thoughts on his performance and, the story itself.
Yeah. Now, there are 2 parts to the story. One part is this comeback of Mohsin. Mohsin, last year after the World Cup, I know for a fact that there were selectors, Chetan Sharma's committee had serious thoughts about whether it's Mohsin or whether it's Umran. Umran was a bit more pacier, but Mohsin overall, Umran is no match for Mohsin. And I can stick my neck out, get trolled. Umran is no match for Mohsin. Mohsin Khan has way more control. He can swing the ball. He bowls a mean Yorker. He's tall. He gets disconcerting bounce.
Yes.
So everything made him, and also his economy rate. He can control phases of the match, and he just doesn't bowl that 150 length ball, which after a time, international batsmen of international class and caliber will hit you. They are not bothered. Yes, pace is pace, yeah, is a common refrain, but yeah, fine. They will get a measure and then they will get 18, 20 runs of you. So Mohsin was this close. And then happened an ankle injury. After that happened an elbow injury.
Yeah.
He had surgeries. And I can say this with some degree of informed opinion that his injury management wasn't great last year. So now I don't want to get into who all were responsible for it, but his comeback took longer than it should have. Finally, but I would also give credit here to the Lucknow Super Giants management. They kept him. They didn't rule him out, but they said they allowed him to rehab with their team of support staff. He worked with the SNC coaches over there, and finally he played a match where he was hit. There was a match where he was given 1 over, I think 1 or 2 overs. He didn't complete his spell. And yesterday against Tim David, the thing that Jason Holder couldn't do for RR, he had done it for LSG, and Krunal Pandya comes out as an astute skipper.
Yeah.
So that is the difference between a Sanju Samson and a Krunal Pandya. Mohsin Khan executing and a Jason Holder not being able to execute. This is the kind of difference. But that is one part of it. He should have come back much earlier. He was this close. I can tell you with some degree of confidence, he was this close, like inches close to the Indian team last time when the home season was starting and the T20 team. Umran pipped him, but he was this close before that injury happened at the fag end of the IPL. Yeah. And he couldn't even play the A series against New Zealand and Bangladesh.
Yeah, and so he has yesterday after the post-match press conference, he's spoken about that period, and he's spoken about the low that he felt, and he's also spoken about how that injury was a very serious injury where His artery was involved, his nerve was involved, and at one point, if he'd not gone earlier to a doctor, his hand would have had to be amputated. So that's how serious.
Yes. There was a big goof up with his diagnosis. Let me tell you that. I'm not going to get into who goofed it up. There's a big goof up. He could have. His career could have ended me. Yeah. His career would have ended prematurely. It didn't. God's grace, and Indian cricket is lucky.
And then he ends up and performs like that. So I think Krunal Pandya is right when he said that he's got a big heart, and people with big heart can come back and come back mentally stronger from their setbacks. But that's a wonderful comeback, and that's a wonderful story. So I wanted to put that out there in the show. But let's also discuss the playoff scenario. Let's put the points table up for everybody to see, Kushan, and then we'll talk about what the teams need to do. Now, the interesting bit is that 3 teams, one has already qualified. Gujarat Titans, we know they've qualified. They've got 18 points, so they've qualified. It's the other now, the 5 teams that are in contention who can get to 16 points or more. Chennai Super Kings are on 15 points. They've got 1 match left, and if they win the next match, they are going to finish, or they are going to be in the top 2. They will qualify in the top 2 positions because they'll have a better net run rate unless Lucknow Super Giants win their last match by a huge margin. So that's the thing. It'll be interesting to see. But I think Lucknow Super Giants play their match later than Chennai Super Kings. So they will know exactly how much to win it by. But let's put that. Let's go back to the points table, please. Let's just put the points table up. There you go. Then you have Mumbai Indians. Now, interestingly for all of you, Mumbai Indians, after losing yesterday's game, they've got dismal net run rate, which means that even if they win their last game, they may still not qualify for the playoffs. So for the Mumbai fans, this is what I'm telling you. Even if they win their last game, because of the net run rate, they might have a problem in qualifying, because if RCB go on to win their next 2 games, they have a better run rate than Mumbai Indians. So they will finish on 16 points, and so will Mumbai Indians. This also means that Chennai Super Kings and Lucknow Super Giants will have to win their next games that they are playing. Kushan, you look at this, and we've seen this before as well in earlier editions of IPL, where you're getting into the business end, you have 4 matches left and you still don't know who the 4th team will be. Pretty similar case here, given that there are 3 spots left in 7 teams, at least 6 teams in contention. How do you see this playing out? Let's start first with Chennai Super Kings and LSG. Well, let's take 2 teams and then we'll get to the next 2. LSG, Chennai Super Kings, you win the next game, you're through. Because of that.
Straight equation. Yes, second, third does matter, because if you finish second, then you get two bites of the cherry. But okay, fine. But even LSG won't mind just winning and being there and taking it from there.
Yeah. Let's put that up. Let's put the points table up. Let Kushan talk about it, so that we can see how the teams are placed. So if you could just put the points table up, and then we'll know exactly where the teams are placed. So there you go, Kushan. These 2 straightforward, because they've already got 15 points, and it has helped, that washout between these 2 teams. So they're on 15 points. If they win their next games, they are going to be through. But for Mumbai Indians and for Royal Challengers Bangalore, if you could put the second half of the points table as well, and then we'll show our viewers. There you see that KKR and RR, I would think, are all but out. They will, even if they win their next, RR in fact have played 13 games as well. Even if they win their next games, Kushan, they will only end up on 14 points. Do you see any chance for Kolkata Knight Riders and Rajasthan Royals? But given that they'll only end up being on 14 points and,
No, actually, Punjab has a better chance with 2 matches
yeah.
left. Punjab has a better chance because even KKR, even if they win the last match, all they can do is they can basically ruin LSG's chances a bit, but LSG can still with 15, still if equations go in their favor, can qualify. So for KKR, even if they win from minus 0.256, they can at best go to minus 0.135 or something like that. They will not go to a positive run rate from minus 0.256. So KKR is out for me. Rajasthan is out for me with 14 points until and unless something really bad happens. Yes,
Everybody else loses all their matches, which is not possible.
The team that has serious chance is RCB, but who is RCB playing the last match? I don't know.
RCB is playing Gujarat Titans in Bangalore. So let's also put that up. So let's just put that up, and then we'll kind of have an idea of who's playing whom and where are they playing and the home advantage.
Playing next.
Yeah, so let's put that up. CSK are playing DC at the Kotla, which is on Saturday.
That should be an easy match for CSK.
For CSK.
And CSK are not a team like which is too complacent or like that in these kind of situations. So CSK, I believe against Delhi can have a good match.
Also the conditions in Delhi, tailor-made for CSK.
Conditions in Delhi, tailor-made for CSK and their bowlers. And Delhi, actually the ragtag team, they would just like, when you are finishing last, all you want is now the season to finish. Season to finish, get your return tickets in order, go back home and chill.
Go back home.
You don't want to talk about cricket for the next 1.5 months after this. So this kind of a season. So I CSK over there. LSG after this kind of a win against Mumbai Indians, where this kind of a come from behind win. These wins actually they boost your morale up. This is that Kapil Dev 175 kind of a innings that basically boosts you up, lifts your spirits. So that helps them against KKR in the last match. LSG I think is playing KKR in Kolkata.
Yes.
So and Gautam Gambhir knows that track like the back of his palm. Gautam Gambhir knows. So there, although KKR, I still believe in Kolkata, if they are still in contention, if they know they're in contention, they will still have a slight advantage, but LSG cannot be ruled out. So 17 over there. My serious contenders would be either RCB or Punjab Kings. Punjab Kings, depending on today's match. Otherwise, RCB hasn't been a bad team altogether. Yes, sir.
No, what about Mumbai Indians? Mumbai Indians have Sunrisers Hyderabad at Wankhede. They've got the best record at home.
Hyderabad at Wankhede. Yes, the best record at home. Even if they win, but still RCB, until and unless who is RCB playing in that 13th match?
So let's just put that. Our producer Rajendra ji, he's made the list. So let's put that. Let's put his hard work on air, and then we'll come to it. CSK are playing Delhi Capitals at the Kotla. If we can just put those graphics up. There you go. So Punjab Kings versus DC and RR. That's Punjab Kings, 2 matches. They are playing DC on 17th of May. And then they are playing Rajasthan Royals on 19th of May. Next, Royal Challengers Bangalore. Royal Challengers Bangalore are playing Sunrisers Hyderabad and then Gujarat Titans. Sunrisers Hyderabad in Hyderabad. They are playing in Hyderabad. So that's an away game from for Royal Challengers Bangalore. And then GT goes to Bengaluru, and Rajasthan and Royal Challengers Bangalore are playing them on 21st of May. Next, Chennai Super Kings are playing Delhi Capitals. We've already spoken about it, Kushan, on 20th of May, where Chennai Super Kings will have the advantage in the conditions and the way this team knows how to win against Delhi Capital, who are already out of contention. Then the next one is Lucknow Super Giants. They are playing Kolkata Knight Riders. We spoke about this as well on the 20th of May. And given the way Lucknow Super Giants won against Mumbai Indians, they do have an advantage against Kolkata Knight Riders. Mumbai Indians have 1 match left. They are playing Sunrisers Hyderabad on the 21st of May at the Wankhede. So there you have it. Now I think we've got all the teams that are in contention, all of their matches. So there you go. Jamie is also here with us. He's come back. So now so we've made it very clear that Sunrisers Hyderabad, that CSK and LSG, they win their next games, they are through. RCB and PBKS, that's where the question is, right, Kushan? So now you know RCB are playing Sunrisers Hyderabad in Hyderabad, and then they are playing Gujarat Titans at home. PBKS also, let me tell you, PBKS also, they are playing DC in Dharamshala today, and then they are playing Rajasthan Royals, that is also in Dharamshala. So now go ahead.
Yeah. So you want me to Jamie will
Yes.
speak, or
You start, Kushan, then we'll get Jamie as well.
Yeah. So if you ask me, this is how it pans out for me. That GT still finishes on top of the table for me, obviously, and like 18 points now. CSK, I believe, will beat Delhi hands down. Like, it will be the biggest upset if they lose that match. Like MS Dhoni's team losing to the last place team in a match which determines whether they're going to finish second or not. So 17, and then they play in Chennai. Dhoni's like that will be Dhoni's stage.
Yeah.
And Lucknow, yes, it will be a great match. Lucknow versus KKR. Like yesterday, though, me and Jamie got it wrong, but we both said that it will be a very close match. So we were right on that count yesterday.
Sure.
We got our winner wrong, but we were both, we predicted that it would be a close match. So I again predict that LSG versus KKR will be a very tough, very close match. LSG, chalo, I believe maybe 52-48 or 55-45 in favor of LSG. So three teams. Fourth team, at this point in time, it is for RCB to bungle this up and lose a playoff spot for me.
You think RCB will win SRH and GT?
I think so.
Okay. And
I think so because RCB at this point in time, it will be like only they can lose from here. They know everything. They have two matches. They played one match less than some of the other teams. So 16 they won. They have a positive net run rate. So
they do have.
You win. You keep your run rate intact. So by the time Mumbai Indians play, you know what you have done. So that is it. Like, just win your two matches.
Okay, so it's RCB's place to lose here. What about you, Jamie? We've just spoken about it. CSK, LSG in good position. Mumbai can still lose despite winning their last game because of their negative net run rate, especially if RCB end up winning both their games. And RCB, like I said, are playing Sunrisers Hyderabad and GT. Hyderabad in Hyderabad and GT at home. PBKS का कोई बोल नहीं रहा है.
नहीं, PBS के बारे में तो छोड़ो. Bangalore are always a fun team to discuss. I think given how abject Hyderabad have been, they're going to beat SRH. But to beat GT, no matter where you're playing, and it's not like Chinnaswamy's been some great ground for RCB. You know, they've lost more than they've won there. Unless GT, like we've seen, many teams have helped other teams get into the playoffs. I don't think Pandya's team is going to do that. I expect them to thrash Bangalore, and Bangalore do not make it.
Okay, so who are your four teams then?
I want to just remind everyone. I know you already taken my case by saying that I had Delhi in my top four from the start, but I'm going to stick with my top four. For anyone who does not know, it was always Gujarat, CSK, Mumbai. My fourth team is Delhi. Delhi's gone. I think it's going to come down. Look, yesterday's win has changed things. You cannot discount Lucknow now. Lucknow, I mean, it'll take some huge bungle to get out. Yeah. So I'm going to stick with Lucknow because I don't see them going out. Before yesterday, I said they're going to fall out, and it's going to be a fight for 4 between RCB and RR. But yesterday's win, of course, has changed that. I don't see Lucknow going out. Even if they do lose to KKR, and I agree, we're going to have a cracker match on the weekend at Eden Gardens. But Lucknow has done enough to stay in the top 4.
Okay. I think we've got to wrap this up, gentlemen, but thank you so much for taking the time out. It is Punjab Kings versus Delhi Capitals tonight at Dharamshala. And between these two teams, DC are already out, but they can spoil Punjab's party. Punjab beat them at the Kotla. But Punjab Kings still very much in contention. They've got to win, though, both their matches by huge margins to not only get to 16 points, but also have a better net run rate. Can they do it? You watch all the action and you come back right here for the review tomorrow. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.